Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to... My voice just gave out again, and it was all good. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here, part of the show. Hey, the market has crashed several days in a row, and today, maximal crash 2,231.07 points. The ineptitude of an administration that took a market that had gone through the roof, the ineptitude of an administration that took an economy that, while not the best for the working class, was better than it is now, while not the best for the working class, for in the aggregate was zooming through the numbers. And one imbecile, and I don't use this word lightly, because one imbecile comes in with a whole bunch of cowards and sycophants surrounding him, that as he takes them over the cliff, they refuse to say, no, we won't go over the cliff with you. That is where we're going to start. But beforehand, I've got to bring my people in. Welcome aboard. The first person in the house today was Lee the Bearcat from Austin, Texas. The second person in the house today was Patrick Magner from Houston, Texas. The third person in the house was Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. The fourth person in the house was Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. We have as well Eric Hayes from Kingwood, Atascocita, and as well Edward Pena de Houston, Texas. And of course, we have E2247 from all over, Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. And if I missed anybody now, please go ahead and, check it out. Now, for all those people that are 60 years old, 61 years old, 62 years old, 63, many said, I am retiring at 62. But because my 401k plus that slightly lower Social Security makes me whole. I'm voting for Donald Trump because Donald Trump says he's going to do the right thing and he's going to make a better economy for me. And your faith in the idiocy of Donald Trump, even as most of us were trying to give the real story of who Donald Trump is. And they voted for him anyway, and you got what you asked for. You got what we told you he was going to do. Create an autocracy, create a system. Do you think Donald Trump cares what happens to the stock market? His people have this market shorted. They're going to make a killing. The market's been shorted. The market has been shorted. It doesn't take rocket science to understand that when you go ahead and tell people, I am sure keeping the tariffs the way it is. That was one more day of shorting that was possible. America continues to be conned by this guy from a Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but a crypto coin, to a false media company in Truth Social. All kinds of ways to take your money away from you. And now the crashing of the United States stock market. Not the economy yet, but the stock market. Because we're a capitalist society, as the stock market goes, so will the economy, because the people who own stocks will never take a loss. The real people, I'm not talking about mom and pop with a 401k. They won't take the loss. So you all will continue to pay the price until we restructure our economic system to that supports the middle class and the working class. But every time we try, you fall for the okey doke from the people like Donald Trump who lies to you, who gives you the impression that they know what they know. They are the reasons we need DEI. Donald Trump and his ilk are the reasons we need DEI. They have no business in those positions. They are too dumb for those positions. It's not hard to steal money. It is hard to make money. It is very easy to steal money. It is easy to create structures that make money out of nothing. That's why stockbrokers are not the smartest people on this planet. That's why money managers are not the smartest people on this planet. That's why all those folks that create nothing can make money so easily. And the people who truly provide for society, the teachers, the doctors, the engineers, the scientists, are not the ones that actually are the ones that make the bulk of the money in our system. Folks, it is time that we wake up and smell the coffee. It is time that we start to see things the way that they are. Now, think about this. One person, what kind of an economic system? I want you guys to think about this. What type of economic system can one person, one president bring to its knees? I mean, if the economic system were real, Donald Trump could say anything if it had value. You can't take away value from something that has value and merit. You cannot take away value. When you see a stock market crater like this, it tells you the casino that we are built on, the casino that many people get rich on, is just a fallacy. And when we speak about these issues, many people want to call you socialist, communist, and all these other names. I don't give any labels. I just say what we have is an economic system based on a fraud. And you know who knows it better than anybody else? Donald Trump knows it's a fraud. That's why he could call himself a billionaire by owning stuff he doesn't really own. And we continue to allow ourselves to be snowed. We continue to allow those of us who are either of limited thinking capacity by choice, not by organ or not organically, but those who choose because of their prejudices, those who choose because of their gullibility to fall for the crap. When are we going to grow up? How does one man destroy the personal economies of so many people? We can look at that stock market go down. I don't have any money in the stock market worth anything anyway. But you look at that stock market and what you're looking at, they say, well, 60% of Americans have some footprint in the stock market because they may have a 401k or whatever. But you know what? The 40% that are working class, lower working class, and poor, none of this means anything to them. So the people that got hurt by Donald Trump the most at this point, based on what has currently happened, are those people with those 401ks, are those people, those mid-level working class, but mostly the rich people. And guess what the rich folks are going to do? Poor people, the 40% that didn't partake of this, get ready to pay the price because they want to cut your Medicaid. They want to cut your SNAP. They want to cut your Medicare. They want to cut your Social Security. Are you ready? I shouldn't be saying, are you ready? I should say, are you ready to peacefully do what's necessary to take back your country from these charlatanes that know not what they do? Actually, they do know what they do, but they don't give a damn. They don't never gave a damn about you. They never gave a damn about you. And we continue, and we continue, and we continue. All right, Trump has just pardoned a crypto firm, BitMEX, for violating money laundering laws, making him potentially the first president in American history to pardon a corporation. Amazing, isn't it? All right, coming back to the scroll. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Egberto Willis, capitalism pays screen. All right, thank you for that, sis. All right, let me put what Bridge MCP asked me to put on the screen. And here it is, and it says the following. All right, it says the following. Truth shockers. If hard work made you rich, every farmer would be a billionaire. But they're not, because the system doesn't reward labor, it rewards leverage. Modern capitalism isn't about effort, it's about exploitation. And I don't know why they put modern capitalism. They should just simply put capitalism, because that is inferred by what capitalism is. Thank you for that, Bridge. Makes a hell of a lot of sense. All right, continue. J Ray is in the house. Roar. Hope to see you mañana, J Ray. I hope to see Patrick tomorrow as well. I sent you the link, Patrick. Uh, I sent it to you late last night, so check your box for that. Let's see. Paul Fleming is in the house as well. I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down to see. Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia is in the house. Welcome, Yvette. Let's see what else. Buy bonds now. No, don't look. We don't know. This is in flux. Buy nothing. Bonds are stock. This is in flux. Remember, whatever the price of stocks were, it was just a gimmick anyway, right? Stocks went up a whole ton under Biden. Yeah, the economy was doing good, but I have no idea why the stocks went up, because there's no correlation between the stock price and the actual physical value of the company, plus whatever goodwill it may have if you amortize over the future. So I give no value to stock prices at all. None. So I don't know what fair value is. Okay? Steigen Bergen Greek, welcome aboard. I fear taking back the country will not be peaceful. The Trump cult are violent. They're violent, but you know what? They have two people attacking them right now, and that is their own Führer. Their own Führer is making them very, very poor. Anyway, today Neil Aquino visited a protest at a Social Security office that I want to go ahead and play. So let me play that protest, and then we'll take it on the other side. But we have a lot more to go, a lot more to cover. There's a whole lot of protests going around the country at Social Security offices, etc. And today, the one and only Neil Aquino from the Houston Democracy Project, as usual, is out there in the field with the people at a very important protest at a Social Security office. Neil Aquino, Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. How are you doing, my dear brother?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. And we are at 13302 Westheimer, and it is busy as can be. Westheimer and Eldridge, and this event is every Friday from noon to 1. Very windy today, but every Friday, noon to 1. And so please join the crew out here. I am not the organizer. We're going to talk to the organizer in a moment.
Well, look, thank you for being out there. I think as more people find out that people are activated throughout the country, they'll be able to stop the complete destruction of our economy, the complete destruction of our government that is happening right now. So take it where you need to take it, Neil.
Okay, great. So there's the Social Security office over there. You see it's your basic strip plaza. And we're going to go down here and we're going to talk to Marcia. Well, very good, Marcia. Wardrobe adjustment there. Marcia, what brings you out here? What was your impetus to begin this Friday protest at Social Security office?
Well, I learned from attending the John Cornyn demo protest every week that you have to be the one that does things. No, there's no overriding organization that looks after us. I would like it to be the DNC, but it's not. They just want money. So I know that you have to do things yourself or they won't get done. So I just decided I will do this. Not very hard. I just got on Facebook and posted to every single person I knew. And most of those people are either depend on Social Security or they pay into it. I mean, like all working people do. And they care. And so I was really excited about the first response. And someone, David said, hey, you had to ask me, let's check. And everybody said, yeah, we'll put everything. So here we are.
Right. And it's at 13302 Westheimer at the very busy intersection of Westheimer and Eldridge every Friday from noon to 1. And there's a lot of people and we get a great response and we are way outside the loop. Anywhere's the right place to protest, is it not, ma'am?
Yes. I picked this spot because it's in front of the closest Social Security office to Katy. Katy has over 350,000 people, and this is our closest office. And, if they shut this one down, God only knows where we'll have to go.
And the upshot is that the next protest is when you organize it.
Exactly. We found a spot that had a lot of room for cars so that we could carpool places for people who didn't have transportation. When you do one, you realize that it doesn't take anything to do another.
Right.
And it gets you very energized because people passing by, they know what's going on and they feel like they can, they're behind us, and it's good to know for them that we're here and for us that they're there.
And you're just a rank and file human being of Harris County. Right.
Membership indivisible or anything. I just go to meetings and show up when I'm needed.
Okay, that's some great leadership. Thank you. Every Friday, noon to 1, 13302 Westheimer at the busy intersection of Westheimer and Eldridge. Very good. And we're just going to go down the line here. And you see we have a good crew of people at the intersection of Eldridge and Westheimer, 13302. See, we have some loyal Americans here. We have people across the street, and we have a solid operation. And let's, who'd like to do a brief interview with us? Is that okay, sir? So we're on the Egberto Willies Politics Done Right broadcast and YouTube program. What do you say? This is going to air later. What do you say? Why are you here?
Because security belongs to everyone who pays into it. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if your security belongs to you.
Right, and you're concerned that they're going to bust the whole system and dry it up.
That's the goal. A little at a time, but that's the goal.
Okay, that's just great. Here we have an insightful sign of a great flag-waving citizen. Thank you for being here, citizen. Very good. So this is 13302 Westheimer at Westheimer and Eldridge. And we'll see if we can make a little more outside the city. You see, we are greeted as liberators, and we're going to talk. There's the bus. And out of service, a great metaphor for John Whitmire's Metro. Sir, I'm going to come around here. Very good. Sir, what brings you here?
What brings me here?
Yeah.
That's the bus sucks. That's
right. And Social Security, there ought to be Social Security, ought there not?
I am on Social Security, and I am very, very grateful.
Very good. You paid in, sir.
I paid in for 50 years.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Well, we appreciate it, and that's as good as Shakespeare. Good.
It's not an entitlement. It's an earned benefit.
Very good. That's right. It's an earned benefit and not an entitlement.
Listen, that was a great job, Neil, and it seems like you guys are doing a hell of a job out there, buddy. Keep up the good work. Absolutely. Neil called me out this morning and said he's going to be heading to it. I said, hey, can you go ahead and do a live for me? And he was willing to do that, and that's exactly what we did. So that's what's important. All right, let's see. Alejandro Rose, Colon boy. Nosotros somos de Colon. We are both from Colon. That's my brother from Colon, man. How you doing, Alejandro Rose? I've been sick for the last week. Well, today's a week and a day. Actually, more than about a week and 2 days. But I'm recovering well. But because I use the voice every day, twice a day, it doesn't get a chance to recover as fast. But I am doing my best. I'm following all the instructions given to me by the PDR posse here, from turmeric root to ginger root to lime and ginger honey to mucinex at night, all kind of stuff they've already advised me, and I follow the lead of my great PDR posse, the politics done right posse. Anyway, welcome aboard, Joe is from Los Angeles, California. Alejandro Rose is from Colón, Panamá, pero está ahora viviendo, creo que en Georgia. Let's see what else we got here. Bree says tomorrow will be the biggest protest, and I got two things I'm doing tomorrow. One, I got to go to the HPJC, and depending on how I feel, whether I'll go out to the 50501 about a few miles down. By the time our event is over, that will probably be winding down, but it should be a great event at out there at City Hall. But it's going to be in every single state. Many of these events throughout the country. Don't forget, guys, find your 50501 protest and be a part of it. Show the engagement. Show the thug in chief that we mean business and that we want a change. Stop him from blowing up your personal economy. Because remember, as he crashes the economy and he shorts the economy, in effect, what that means is he get paid for the economy to be crashed. And when he releases those, again, that's a long story about shorts, puts, and pulls, and that guy, pushes and puts is what I should say. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. ER is the best people. Genius is personal that should not have been cut. We're cut. We're reinstated then, and that was always a plan. Part of the Doge. We talked about this from the beginning. Is we're going to do 80% cuts, but 20% of those are going to have to be reinstated because we'll make mistakes. It's a damn shame. I heard when Kennedy actually said that. All right. Bridge MCP said, Berto Willis, if you showed other SS protests, this is tiny in comparison. Yeah, well, this is the one that was close by. But I mean, if you understand, Bridge, let me tell you this. If you understand the type of places where we get to see protests in the outskirts of Houston, you'll understand that to get those people out there says a lot. That says a lot given the environment. So I don't care if it's 1, 2, or 3 people. When I did Occupy Kingwood, a lot of us did. There were times that I was during the rainstorm, I was the only one there, and people eventually just started coming. Wherever there's 1 or 2, a protest makes. All right, many disguise themselves in protest because police ICE. You're absolutely right. Paul Fleming says Greg Abbott claims his private school voucher scam will help working families. He's wrong. When I questioned the bill author, he admitted that it would give $1.2 million taxpayer funds to Elon Musk. That is a damn shame, isn't it? It is a damn shame. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm scrolling down before I do the last video. Para ver qué más tengo aquí. Ruben Gallego, a Marine Corps veteran who arrived in Iraq threw a big wrench into Trump's effort to dismantle the VA. Gallego announced he will block all of Trump's VA nominees until he stops his plan to fire veterans and the people who care for them. I love it. Finally, we have some Democrats with spines that are not just going to let things pass. They do what they need to do. I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you guys for doing that. All right, Breach says, Lead a Bearcat, there are hundreds going on. It's one of the safety rules. Joe, Nicolas is here from Venice Beach. All right, Nicolas from Venice Beach. How you doing, Nicolas? Let's see what else we've got. Patrick says, hello, Egberto Willis. Good to see you, brother. Been busy protesting in North Fort Myers. Oh, that's Patrick Baron. Baron, hey, Patrick Baron, how you doing? I am so happy that you're out there holding down the fort. I am so happy. All right, folks, let's see what else we got here. Breach has a ruling. Maryland man illegally deported must be returned to the U.S. judge rules. All right. All right. Let's see if he complies. Let's see if he complies. Okay, folks, I have the second video ready to go. And then after that, I'll take calls. Okay. So if you have anything to call, prepare so that we can do it quickly. But here we go. Here we go. Steve Rattner does it again, explaining quite a bit about the tariffs. But before we get into Steve Rattner, I want to make some points here. The working class always pays. The working class always pays. The plutocracy always does what's best for them. Now, here's the interesting thing. Back in the early days when we were complaining about offshoring and sending products overseas to be built overseas, our government, because of the tutelage they receive from their benefactors, the plutocracy, they didn't think about what it's doing to the current employment base. A few union workers complained and they raised hell, but they never did the job to protect the workers. And to some extent, and this is where we have to take some personal responsibility, we had too many workers falling for the okie doke. We had too many workers believing in the things conservatives were telling them. And conservative ideology, neoliberal ideology, what I mean by neoliberal Democrats as well as conservatives, screwed the working class. And how did they do that? They allowed the offshoring, etc. So we have a pseudo populist in Donald Trump comes and says, I'm going to fix all of this stuff for you guys. And he goes ahead and he wins, barely wins, but he wins an election because a lot of folks believe in the fallacies and their racial prejudices, their gender prejudices. All these things formed a nasty bubble that allowed a Donald Trump to come back into office. Anyway. So now he believes he's going to, because people know that tariffs will likely make a lot of foreign stuff expensive, he can cower that. He can tell people, this is going to help you in the long run, etc. And many of his sycophants are liable to believe it. But what Steve Rattner points out is, look, the genie has been taken out of the bottle. You can't stick it back in. You have to create new avenues to enrich, new avenues to pump up the working class. Because what the plutocracy has done in the way it has moved manufacturing around isn't something that can be fixed in a year or 2 or 3 at all. And the pain that it will take to get it fixed is not borne by the plutocracy. It will be borne by the American people. And unless the government were to start shoving money into the American people's pocket so that they can then purchase products from the private sector that's going to be retooling over here, and at the same time put some price controls on those companies as they rebuild, and that price control, etc., would be a penalty for them having been traders to America. Until we've done that, but no American government is going to do that. So as such, we have to create new avenues. So let's go ahead and listen to what Steve Rattner has to say here, and then we'll take it on the other side.
In 1988, Dick Gephardt and a lot of Democrats were fighting for tariffs. They were fighting for what they would call fair trade, lost that fight. A lot of populist Republicans that came in with me, including myself, were arguing the same thing in the mid-90s. And here we are 30, 40 years later. And the question is, can you get those jobs back? Because people like Dick Gephardt lost that fight back in the 1980s. Can it be unwound? Most economists say it cannot. Most of Wall Street says it cannot. And yesterday suggested suggested that they basically let their money talk on what they believed regarding tariffs.
Yeah, Joe, look, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. We can spend a lot of time, kind of like who lost Vietnam, we can spend a lot of time debating what happened in the 90s and the early 2000s and how we ended up with a much larger trade deficit and many fewer manufacturing jobs. But what's done is done. Let's take a look at a couple of those numbers. Let's start with the stock market yesterday. We talked about the almost 5% drop. This is actually $5 trillion of wealth lost since the inauguration. The stock market had already been starting to go down as people got more and more nervous about what Trump was or wasn't going to do. So a huge drop. But here's what's actually quite interesting. The stock market drop here was actually larger than the stock market drop in every other major index, every other major country. In Japan, it was down 2.8%. In Europe, it was down 2.6%. In the UK, just 1.6%. And in China, just 0.6%. So why is that? Trump thinks he's hurting all these people. He thinks everything is, a negotiation where somebody wins and somebody loses, and he thought he was the winner, and we turned out to be the loser. And the answer is because, based on a set of projections from the budget lab up in New Haven, we are the loser. The impact of this, the long-run impact on GDP of this, is actually going to be, projected anyway, to be worst on the U.S. of any other major country that we trade with, except for Canada. Canada has a special problem. They export a lot of oil to us. We are net oil exporters, but we do bring in some Canadian oil for complicated reasons I'll spare you. But essentially, they believe that we will have the worst economic impact. What actually could be positive in the UK. Trump's tariffs on the UK are only 10% of among the lowest. The EU, a tenth of a percent, Mexico, a tenth, and so on. And China, only negative 0.2, because these countries have other things they can do. Their consumers are not going to be paying the cost of these tariffs because they're on the other side of it. And therefore, they are actually going to have slightly better economies than they would have had. So the irony is we're the worst. And yes, in terms of that JP Morgan projection, I think we are definitely in the 60% recession odds for this year. This economy is going to soften materially.
Let's move to your second chart, Steve, putting this into some historical perspective.
And you can see back in 1980, tariffs have been coming down for a long time since World War II. But you can see in 1980, we have a meaningful tariff rate. But then this is what Joe was talking about. All the trade agreements brought our tariff rate down to just around 2%. This circle is Trump-Biden. You can see Trump did some tariffs in his first term. Tariff rate went up a little bit. This is, for all of his talk in the first term, this is all that happened. Biden brought them down part way. And now we have this. And this, going across here, this is 1909. The last time we had tariffs at this level was in 1909. Now, many of us studied in school about the recession and about how we put tariffs on. Some say that it caused the recession. It didn't, but it exacerbated the recession. The famous Smoot-Hawley tariffs. That tariff rate here was actually a little under 20%. So these are not only the highest tariff rates we've had in more than a century, but higher than we had when we had what every historian would tell you were the worst tariffs we've ever put in place until now. So let's turn to some of the individual impacts, because obviously the market goes down, but all the other stocks do different things. And so we had a fairly disparate impact. And there are good reasons, and I'm not going to go through all these, but I'll give you a couple of examples. Nike down 14%. All of, I shouldn't say all, probably virtually all of their clothing and their shoes and their sneakers and so forth are made in Southeast Asia, which have some of the highest tariff rates, as we'll talk about in a minute. Boeing is a huge exporter of planes to other countries. Those countries can now buy Airbuses. Could be really bad for Boeing's business. Apple makes virtually every iPhone that they sell in China. 54% tariff coming into effect there. Amazon, you would be surprised at how many packages you order from Amazon that are actually shipped directly to you from somewhere overseas where they're made, and a high tariff will now be paid. JP Morgan, the banks could be facing pressure for another reason, and so on and so forth. I'll just mention quickly down here, Walmart and Costco. Why did they do comparatively well? Because they have such buying power that they are likely to be able to hold down their price increases and take market share from other retailers.
All right, let's move to your last chart, Steve, and it's time for a little math.
I'm going to do my best to help, but their math would not get them through math class either. The economics wouldn't get through economics class. The math isn't going to get through math class. But let's talk about what they did. So first of all, just to put some stark numbers next to it, you can see these are our top trading partners, European, and what the tariff rates are going to be. European 20%. China is actually now 54% because he added 20% earlier in the year, so that gets up to 54. Japan 24, South Korea 25, Taiwan 32. You'll notice China, Mexico and Canada are not on here because he did separate deals with them also, and they will pay some tariffs, but he does have that trade agreement he negotiated with them before. But one of the points I want to make is that some of the highest tariff rates, the way he did this, and I'll explain that in just one second, some of the highest tariff rates are under some of the poorest, most struggling countries in the world. And so Bangladesh is now going to pay a 37% tariff rate on stuff they sell to us. South Africa, 30%, and so on. So this is going to cut our purchases from these countries dramatically. It is going to hurt these countries' economies dramatically. It is not just bad economics, it's bad foreign policy, and it's inhumane. So you ask, how do they calculate it? I'm sure everybody has seen this formula before. I'm joking. And I'm not going to go through it all, but we got a lot of Greek letters. We got phi, we got all this stuff. But basically, Willie, it comes down to what you just said. The way they think about this, they think that if there is a trade deficit, then by definition, the other country is manipulating trade, and therefore they calculate the tariff based on the size of the trade deficit relative to how much they send us. So the bigger the trade deficit relative to what they send us, the higher the tariffs. It makes no sense. You're not going to find an economics professor on the planet who's going to tell you this is the right way to look at it, but it's emblematic of the whole mess they've created.
All right, Steve Rattner nails it, right? Look, Steve is a neoliberal economist as well. Don't ever think otherwise. But that doesn't mean that his accuracy in what he's talking about needs to be questioned. The thing about it here is the following. Yes, the genie is out of the bottle. You can't stick her back in, but we sure can create policies, progressive policies to mitigate all these issues. We can create progressive policies that starts to rebuild factories, and we could do this. We could say, I tell you what, private sector, we want factories that build these things. You don't build it, the American people will build it, produce products out of that factory. And you know what? Because there will be no incentive for shareholders and executives, those prices would automatically be cheaper than if you make it. So you start building your factories now, or we'll start building them and employing the American people at a high wage. And at the same time, instead of giving the money to shareholders, we give it to workers and create a product at a lower price. You guys decide whether you want a more collective economy or a more corporate economy. And I tell you what, watch how quickly these guys start to manufacture and manufacture more efficiently. There's a lot of things that can be done if you have the fortitude, the moral fortitude to exact it out of those who've been stealing from us for decades since the inception of this country. Yep, they have been stealing from us for decades since the inception of this country. John A. on Substack has something quite interesting to say, quite correct. He says markets drop, employees fired, allies are gone, and it is awful, simply because he rejects everything Biden and the Democrats were doing to recover from his first horrible presidency. That is so right. John A. also says, Trump is deranged, and he will swiftly create a Great Depression. He's well on his way to do that. Let's see. Alistair Waters says, he said he would, when Booker did his protest speak. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is, sis. And I'm scrolling down. Okay, I don't get all the messages on Substack. I get when you join, etc. But somehow I don't get a chance to see all the messages. All right, Patrick Barron said, I am so afraid right now because I have no idea how we come out of this. I am trying to mentally prepare what is about to happen, but my training will kick in. I'm always a half glass full guy. Let me tell you something, Mr. Baron, because I get that question a lot. I don't really know what is next. I don't really know what is next. And that is something that perplexes a lot of us, all of us. What's next? What do we do? Nobody knows what's next. Trump doesn't know what's next. MAGA doesn't know what's next. Because what we are going to get is the effective coalescing of people after this damage start, after people either physically feel the damage or realizes the approaching damage. And then things are going to move. And when they start to move, they're going to move quickly. So what I tell folks is, we are into the nonviolent stuff, and even as we know, a lot of these MAGA folks are militia type folks. I think they're going to realize that the enemy is not really those pinko liberals. And my biggest fear is when they realize that they've been had by the likes of Donald Trump and his ilk. I am less concerned about them coming after the woke and instead going after the folks who fooled them about the woke. And that's going to be nasty. Because I don't know, you ever heard about a spouse scorned, a woman scorned, a man scorned? That is something that bites even harder when it is from the one that you know, from the one that you gave your trust to. And that's why they lie consistently and they lie effectively and they continue to lie and lie and lie. Because if a modicum of truth comes out, it breaks the reality that people have of them. And once that reality is broken, it isn't, because again, the reality is one that is uncovering the failed. Then what happens is the reaction comes. So I think the people that need to fear the most, first of all, the woke folk have to continue doing the job that we're doing. We've got to continue doing the job. We have got to continue informing. We have got to continue educating. We have got to continue doing all of this because they are going to see that what we are saying was actually the truth and that they were taken to the cleaners by their Führer and the sycophants who knew that the Führer was taking them to the cleaners. Mike on Substack says, we need to increase your eyeballs, Egberto. You're always so salient and powerful. Thank you, my brother. Let me tell you, Mike, the way to increase the eyeballs, man, is for everybody to share. Remember, I'm very much what's the word? Because I don't go through there's a certain amount of things that other people do to get it right. You notice if you take a look at what shows up in our feed, people offering to get you more views and all that kind of stuff. I've actually considered that and went against it because I need to grow organically. Organically mean people are watching because it's getting to them and it's because they want to see it. But it's hard to grow organically when you're also being throttled, right? That's why I picked up Substack. On Substack, I have about 20 something thousand free subscribers that get all of this in their feeds every day. And I wish more of those subscribers would turn into paid subscribers. I also have the large database on Facebook, etc. But you're absolutely right. If we are to get more live viewers, it would mean in real time, everybody that's watching us real time, share either the Facebook link or the YouTube link or the Twitter link, and then that would actually help us. That'll make it even more organic. But you're absolutely right, and thank you for that, Mike. I appreciate that. All right, what else have we got here? Breach says, I know there's something to read. Egberto Willis, as it has come out, Most of those men with masks with no ID wearing ice jackets are actually the Proud Boys doing Trump's work. I believe that. I believe that. Michael Rudden says CBC, Canada's anti tariff billboards in the US go viral, told Americans in big bold letters that tariffs are a tax on your grocery bill. This should be interesting when Trump's tariffs and the resulting trade wars come into full effect. People are going to notice a sharp rise in prices. Egberto, when conservatives realize just how badly Trump and the Republicans screwed them, the backlash should be interesting. Most on the left still want a nonviolent political revolution. Those on the right don't have that sort of patience. Most domestic terrorism is linked to right-wing extremism, and they are about to have a lot of reasons. I agree. And the thing, like I was saying, Mike Rudden, the thing is this. I think that they go against uh, the Trump sycophants because those are the ones who lied to them. As long as we keep telling the truth, they will know that we are the good ones in the long run. They will know that woke is real. My sister Bridge MCP, talk to me, sis.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt you. You can still answer Mike.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm answering both of these right now, and then we'll put. Who is the second call? Mike is the second. No, I think Harry is the second call. Mike hasn't called in yet, but go ahead, Abridge.
Oh, you want me to talk? Okay.
No. I want Breach to talk.
Okay.
Breach came in before you. Come on in,
Hey,
Breach.
hello. Can you hear? Oh,
Yeah, I was
Breach.
saying about Michael Rudden. You were answering him, so I didn't want you to interrupt that.
Oh no. Go. I got him.
But okay, what I wanted to say was that post I made about the Proud Boys. There's a whole movement going on about women, and these guys are running around with no masks, no ID, just a nice jacket and a gun, and who knows who they are, but it's been coming out clearer and clearer that a lot of them are Proud Boys. And the whole thing, women are becoming very afraid, because here you have these madmen released from prison that are obviously, racist and bigots and, not law abiding. And they could just snatch up any woman and say they're ICE.
Right.
And no one can have anything to do with it. So there's a whole women's movement going on or starting up behind the scenes. And that's why a lot of people, they wear disguises for different reasons, but women in general are afraid because they have to write their phone numbers on their arms. They keep a list of lawyers on their written and marker on their arms because of what's going on. They're afraid. Two men could just come up and take a woman, like they did to that woman in, where was it, Massachusetts, take her and just say, we're ICE and you're coming with us. And you're nobody. And
I saw that.
Big,
that was a
fearful
shame.
thing
Yeah.
for women. Well, she just got a judgment today that she can't be transported. She's got to go back to Vermont to have her. Is it Vermont or Massachusetts? Go back there from Louisiana to have a trial. She can't stay there. The judge ruled that, and then the other thing about getting that guy from El Salvador. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that there is a women's thing coming up about these ICE people or Proud Boys, whoever the hell they are, because no one knows who they are.
I mean, and that is a shame. We're really starting to operate like these crazies. Before you go, I want to read something here from Substack. Jan Arcock.artisan said, my son at the Social Security admin offices in Boston, last Friday, they were given a form to sign agreeing to a reassignment of duties. If they did not sign the form, it would mean they want to resign. He completed the form and was reassigned to a field office near Boston to a lower grade. The employees were not expecting this to happen since Musk has closed field offices and cut the number of districts. Now the employees are concerned that the rumor that Musk will be closing all field offices. Have you heard about that? I haven't heard about closing all field offices at all. The GOP wants to delete the government and all social programs. Would you give an opinion regarding what's been happening with the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security towards that end? Let me tell you what they're trying to do. They can't and I'm coming to you in a minute, Harry. They can't kill
That's fine.
Social Security. They can't kill Medicaid just easily because they have to do this through a process called reconciliation, which is a budgetary issue. For them to make changes in the law proper, they have to get 60 votes in the Senate still. Of course, they could override that in the beginning of the next Senate session if they wanted to, but that is the law, and every single side have been scared to touch it for these issues. So right now, as it stands, they cannot change that at all. But what they can do, and this is what Musk is doing, they can gut the executives out of there. They can gut it. Okay, they can fire people through the gazoo, and then leave a middle management layer there, and then hire private sector employees to do all the other jobs, to do all the questioning, etc. That's a possibility. So what they would do is they would get rid of high paid, high performance people that have what is it called, that come these programs that come with healthcare, etc., with benefits, and then hire the private sector for people working for cheap to come into these offices. And they solve two problems there. They reduce the cost of the government having to pay for healthcare and all of that. They get a cheaper price, and their friends who own these personnel companies make a killing. Because again, those companies have executives and shareholders. So that's what they're doing. They know they can't gut these agencies completely, delete them. But what they can do is gut them and get the private sector contractors to come in. It's evil. It'll reduce the entire pay scale. It'll cause a lot of a lot of communities that depend on those high-priced workers. It's a shame, and this is why you must fight. This is why you must fight, because this is a con job. All right, go ahead, Harry.
Absolutely, it is a con job, and that's why Elon Musk would like to bring in people with the visas and fire all these people that are already here. When Trump's talking about come in legally, they want to bring those people in here and hire them for a cheaper price, so the shareholders and the executives of these companies can make a killing. What I was also going to talk about, I mentioned the tariffs on Canada and Mexico. They want, Trump is hoping to negotiate with them, hoping he'll be able to do that over time when he slaps those tariffs, and hopefully that Canada and Mexico will get in line. And the other thing I was going to comment on today is the other thing I was going to comment. God damn this thing.
Okay, I got to go.
Hello. Yeah. The other thing I was going to comment. 228,000 jobs were created, and now Trump's saying that his plan of a Liberation Day to make America robust and with jobs and all that is already working. No, that is a big con, because that happened before these tariffs were put in place. And I will see, will these companies still hire people, because the unemployment ticked up 4.2% or 4.1 since Trump signed these tariffs. So we don't, he's up here saying that's going to work.
Harry, you're absolutely right, but I got to go. It's 3:57. So thank you, my dear brother,
all right.
Harry.
Have a good weekend. Okay. Tell your wife and your daughter hello. And I'm glad your pipes are coming back.
Thank you. And you tell your brother the same, sir. All right, folks, we are close
to the I will tell Alan that too.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. All right, Michael Radin says, Eric, do criminals get due process and rights? If not, understand that the government can label anyone as a criminal, including you, and nobody but the rich gets rights. Michael, these people who are so happy when they see people of color get banged up by the police, and when they see people of color get arrested or undocumented workers get arrested, they need to remember the adage. When they came for this person, it wasn't one of us, so we didn't care. When they came for women, didn't matter, it wasn't us, we didn't care. By the time they came for you, there was nobody there to save you. I mean, if you ever, for one, think that autocracy isn't a rolling snowball that is ultimately going to pick up everything, you're dreaming. Now, look, I am done with trying to convince the sycophants, right? I will continue to speak, and if some of it lies, if some of what I speak happens to drop on the heads of a sycophant and starts to germinate, good. I am talking to the people who are legitimately fooled. And I can almost guarantee that there's about 68% of the country, 67, 68% of the country that will heed the words that we speak here. There is another 30 something percent that pretty much are sexist, racist, ignorant, and all these, I don't call them deplorable, but it's the people that Hillary Clinton meant when she said deplorables in the effect that they feel satisfaction out of seeing the pain of others. There are those people that exist. They feel satisfaction out of the pain of others. Those people, while some of them may be redeemable, they are inhumane, and we shouldn't be wasting our time on those people. We shouldn't. This country is in trouble, and we have a lot of work to do. I will talk and speak and continue to speak to everybody, but I'm not going to waste my time on some of those that you see in this room who are nothing but sycophants, many of them racists, homophobes, sexists, and misogynists. So now let's move on a little bit further here. I'd like to ask those of you who see the value in what we're doing to please support the program however you can. And you can support the program by either you can buy our books, right? Go to politicsandright.com/books and buy any one of our books, and that helps offset. But what I'm asking for you to do is to become paid subscribers of our newsletter. And how do you become a paid subscriber of our newsletter? You go ahead and go to politicsandright.com/newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter. Or you can also go to politicsandright.com/support to find all the different methods in which you can support this program. But we really cannot do it without you. Without you, we don't have a program. Without you, we can't change the country. And I'm not only talking about our program, but many others being able to change the program, the country to the right direction. So I ask one more time, please support us by becoming paid subscribers at politicsandright.com/newsletter. It is our Substack newsletter, of course, that you can also reach by simply going to our egberto.substack.com and becoming a paid subscriber of our Substack newsletter. If you are on the app and you'd like to become a paid subscriber to help continue what we're doing, just go ahead and subscribe. Do it from either the phone or from the computer. But anyhow, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. Love you all. Drop me a line at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Actually, for this show, it's info@politicsdoneright.com, info@politicsdoneright.com. And you can check out the rest of the program anytime and check out our newsletters. Anyway, folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program.